Okay, guys, so just to give you an idea of the purpose of what we were setting out to do here was to build a set of products on Hyperlane's technology. If you haven't heard of Hyperlane, it's a fantastic interoperability solution. We're quite close with their team. They have a large pipeline, so they can't get to every network. So our plan was to go after all the new up and coming alternative VM DeFi networks like Soroban, for example. So this is why we submitted for what we submitted for. And we're aiming to basically revolutionize the blockchain data transmission sector, which is just related to cross-chain messaging. Our initial product, this is not really related to our submission, but this is part of what can be built on top of this, which anybody, after we deploy all of the infrastructure here, will be able to build on top of this. But you can basically bring in data feeds permissionlessly on top of this. So if you want to bring in Chainlink feeds, they don't have to directly come from Chainlink. They can come through this to provide real-time price feeds to any blockchain, whether it's EVM or alternative VM like Soroban. Our second product, which is more relative to what we were building here, was Ortege Warp. This will use Hyperlane's technology to bring a reputable bridge to any blockchain. And to clarify there, we don't build the bridge. We build the infrastructure that allows anybody else to permissionlessly deploy a bridge. And the beautiful thing about those bridges is that they can have composable security modules. This is the fantastic thing about Hyperlane. So you can have a bridge that's secured by a multi-sig if you wish to go down that route, or you can use economic security and have validators and such. Again, we don't build the bridge, we're building the infrastructure. Now, just to focus in on some of the problems, the first thing is about hacks. They're more frequent than we'd hope. And of course, security suffers without reliable oracles of data. So for any Web3 ecosystem to grow, you need quality data feeds and oracles. Again, this is not really relative right now to what we're submitting, but this is something that this can be utilized for. So you can actually bring in Chainlink feeds if you wish, or another oracle via this solution. So if we just move on to, so again, this is something that could be built on top of this. In case money, if developers want to save money, they don't want to get it straight from Chainlink, they can just do it via this solution. But the problem that we're solving for here, or at least this was the focus, was the bridging problem. So wrapped in synthetic assets are problematic as they result in fragmented liquidity, bad user experience, and low security guarantees than native tokens. And reliable bridges are a must-have for an L1's ecosystem to thrive. So if you think of some of the biggest networks that have, I suppose, thrived over the last few years from the last bull run, obviously we have Ethereum, but then there's all these alternative networks, Solana and Avalanche, etc. They all had to have a reliable bridge, and they all had different security models. And there were some outliers there that got hacked, but there were others that didn't, and they have different security models. So what we're building here is an infrastructure to allow people to actually build bridges for Soroban, to connect them to the, I suppose, outside world, to bring in more capital, and you can basically compose the security on those bridges and that asset transfer or cross-chain messaging. So again, Ortege Warp leverages Hyperlane's technology to bring you a multi-layered security to any blockchain. It enables transfer of any token asset to any other blockchain network. Again, this doesn't come out of the box. This still requires somebody to go in and build a bridge on top of this. But once this infrastructure is in place, it means it's easier to build that bridge. And now this can often be the case when bridging stable coins to provide a stable environment for the burgeoning DeFi ecosystem when it's just sort of being born. As an example, Circle, Hyperlane allows Circle to plug into the existing infrastructure to ensure that there's a bridging landscape and it evolves with it. And it can also even leverage Circle CCTP and other technologies as they arise to basically future-proof your liquidity on-ramps.
Awesome. Your time is coming up, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to finish off, again, Ortege builds on top of Hyperlane's technology with full support from the Hyperlane team. For customer EVM chains, we'll build the backend infrastructure and deployments. For customer alt VMs, like Soroban, we'll build the integration into Hyperlane and the resulting infrastructure and deployments. So again, why Hyperlane? You can look into Hyperlane, but the biggest thing is modular security and permissionless interoperability. This is why we chose it over Axelar and Layer 0. But yeah, you can basically build a bridge and choose your security model. So thanks, guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope it clarified as much as it could clarify. Let me just try and stop and share my screen here.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess there is a little bit of a so yeah, it's great presentation. I think there's a few questions here in the chat. So Matthias says, when you say this, does that mean it's not actually Ortege or Ortega? Sorry, I'm not sure how I pronounce it.
It's pronounced Ortege. It's actually
Ortege. Okay.
Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So when you said like this, does that mean that your reference this means not actually Ortege, or is this the infrastructure? But what does that look like in terms of like deliverables and features? I think there's a little bit of confusion from the audience.
Okay, yeah. So the deliverables that we submitted for in this stage, I've listed them basically in our project thread. But this will cover writing the initial smart contracts for this infrastructure, but will not be usable. We would have to submit again, and we would have to go through another stage of development in order to get to a point where the infrastructure is fully in place for people to build bridges upon. If you're asking about Ortege, the brand, again, just to repeat what I said at the beginning, we as a brand and as an organization recently decided to pivot into blockchain data. So Ortege itself, if you go to the website, it actually focuses on blockchain data. We've pivoted a lot in this space. There's a lot of pivots going on, but we want to respect what we submitted for here originally, because that was the focus. And at the end of the day, if we complete this with another round, then what Soroban will be left with is an infrastructure that will really be useful, because it'll allow any developer to permissionlessly deploy a bridge that has sort of modular security that they can compose themselves.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it could be interesting to also see, like, well, I mean, to think if you did want to pivot, there's still time, right? To pivot with your current project instead of, kind of approving other maybe not relevant projects. So yeah, let's keep that in mind, and we'll follow up a bit as well. But yeah, let's say another question here is like, have you experimented with CCTP before, and on what chain?
That would be that's a great question, but I don't think I can answer it to the best of my ability. That would be a question for Justin on our team. I don't believe we've experimented. I think Justin has tested out implementing with Hyperlane. He's discussed it with the team at Hyperlane to see if it's possible, and according to them, it is. So yeah, that would be my answer to that.
Got it. So okay, yeah. So there's a few comments here. I might want to check out the thread. I think that related to the first comment. But if anyone has any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think let's see, we're pretty good. Yeah, definitely take a look at some of the comments. It could be really interesting, as it looks like what you're building is can be really powerful for the Soroban ecosystem. And yeah, I mean, Silence says, like, really like the product that you submitted. Reliable cross-chain messengers are definitely needed. So just keep us posted. It can always be good to kind of reevaluate whether the current product is still like the right roadmap, and go accordingly. Anyway, thank you so much for presenting.
Yeah, thanks, Anke.